Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, example 6.6 on page 163 of your book. Do you have the PDF file of this chapter, or should I send it to you?
You can send it, ma'am. Ma'am, we don't have.
We don't have.
Okay, I will send you. Okay, because we are studying online now, so we should have everything in digital form. Okay, so I will send you. Now, experiment 6.6, boys. For these type of examples, you have to understand these footbridges first. Okay, there are three footbridges in your course. In your this book, there are three footbridges. This is the first one. Okay, first footbridge. Now, see this very carefully. Like in these type, this footbridge is used in these type of questions. Okay, what is in this question? In this question, the mass of the reactant is given to you. Okay, the mass of the reactants will be given to you. Like for example, see in this example, what mass of aluminium oxide is produced? Means aluminium oxide, the product is asked from us. Okay, mass of the product is asked. So let me write it here, that what they are asking, the mass of, what mass of aluminium oxide is produced. So mass of aluminium oxide, aluminium oxide is equal to question mark. Okay, aluminium oxide is asked, is produced when 9.2 gram of aluminium metal reacts completely with oxygen. Okay, so when aluminium metal, this mass of aluminium metal reacts. So it means that the reactant, one of the reactant mass is given to us. So mass of reactant, mass of aluminium is given, which is 9.2 grams. Okay, from the statement, we can make the equation also, that aluminium metal reacts completely with oxygen. So it means aluminium Al plus, it is reacting with O2 oxygen, and it is giving aluminium oxide Al2O3. Okay, so aluminium oxide, how to make aluminium oxide formula? Do you know how to make the chemical formula of a compound?
Imperial? Imperial? No.
No, not the empirical formula, like simple chemical formula. If you studied the crossover thingy in
Valencies?
first term, cross the valencies. So aluminium oxide, aluminium, what is the valency of aluminium?
+3.
Very good, +3. And oxygen?
-2.
Yeah, -2. Okay, and we cross over the valencies. So what will be the formula of aluminium oxide?
Al2O3.
Al2O3.
Yes, very good. Al2O3. Okay, now we have to balance this equation also. Write the equation first and then balance it always. Okay, because balancing is really important. In the chapter of moles, you have to, whatever, if the equation is given to you, or if you have to make the equation, then balancing is compulsory. Okay, now see, aluminium is 1 on the reactant side and oxygen is 2, aluminium 2 on the product side, oxygen 3. Okay, so how can we make this oxygen equal on both sides?
Ma'am, by putting 3O2. 3 on
Mm-hmm.
this side.
Yeah, if we multiply the 2 atoms of oxygen with 3, the total oxygens will become 6. Okay, and how can we make these oxygen 6 on the
2.
product side?
By writing 2.
By multiplying by 2. Very good. Okay, so we'll write 3 here with oxygen, and with aluminium oxide we will write 2. So how aluminium will also change now on the product side.
Yes, 4.
4.
They are 4. So to balance it on the other side, on the reactant side, we will write 4 aluminium.
4.
Okay, so this is balanced equation. Good. So it means you know balancing. Oops, I erased oxygen also. Okay, so 4Al plus 3 oxygen molecules give 2 molecules of aluminium oxide. It's done equation. Okay, now how to solve it? See, reactant is given to you, aluminium is given, which is 9.2 grams. Okay, aluminium is given, and they're asking us about the mass of aluminium oxide. That what is the aluminium oxide mass? What mass of aluminium oxide is produced? Okay, like mass, one thing is given to you, and the other thing is asked. So in most of the questions, it's like the same, that one thing is given Okay, either grams is given to you, mass, or volume is given to you, or the number of moles are given to you, and they're asking the same thing about the other substance. Okay, that this is the substance, how much the other product will form, other substance. So you, for this type of question, you have to learn this footbridge. From the mass of the reactant which is given to us in the question, 9.2 grams of aluminium are given. Okay, they're already given. Now the first step is, from mass of the reactant you have to take out moles of the reactants. Okay, which formula we will use to find the moles from the mass? What is the formula of moles, beta?
Mass upon
Simple.
molar mass.
Awesome, very good. Mass divided by
Molar
molar
mass.
mass. Okay, so by using this formula, we will take out the moles of the reactant from the mass given. Okay, so let's find them, find it out. This is the first step. Okay, so let's do the first step, finding the moles. Moles is equal to mass divide. We have to keep it in mind that we have, in the end, we have to find out the mass of the product. Okay, so to find the mass of the product, we are doing these steps. So first is to find the moles of the reactant. Mass is equal to molar mass. Okay, mass is 9.2, and what is the molar mass of aluminium?
27.
Very good. It's equal to its RAM. Okay, one mole is equal to RAM or RFM. Okay, what is the answer? 9.2 divided by 27?
Ma'am, 0.34.
0.34 moles. Okay, it's very simple. So the first step is done. From the mass of the reactant, you find out the moles of the reactant. Okay, now the second step is, from the moles of the reactant, you will find the moles of the product. Okay, how you will find it? By equation. Use ratio from the equation. Okay, you have to use the ratio, means reactant ratio product. Okay, how much reactant and how much product is formed by the ratio thingy. By doing the ratio, you have to find the moles of the product. So see here in this equation, the second step is finding the moles of the product by taking the ratio from the equation. Now we have two things, aluminium and aluminium oxide. The ratio between aluminium and aluminium oxide we will take. Okay, now according to equation, okay, see the equation and tell me how many moles of aluminium are forming how many moles of aluminium oxide
4 moles of aluminium
are forming.
and 2 moles.
Very good. 2 moles of aluminium oxide. Okay, 4 moles are forming 2 moles of aluminium oxide. Very good. This is according to equation. Now the moles which we have of aluminium, 0.34. Okay, so 4 moles of aluminium are forming 2 moles of aluminium oxide. So 0.34 will form how much aluminium oxide? This is
0.17.
ratio. Yeah, but how? How did you calculate it?
Then we
I
divide by
divided it
2.
by 2.
Divided by 2.
Divide by 2. 0.34 divided by 2.
0.17.
0.17.
17.
Okay, so the answer is 0.17, and these are moles of the product. Okay, the second step, moles of the product. So see this footbridge. The second step is, from the ratio, from the moles of the reactant, find out moles of the product. Now you have the moles of the product. Do the third step, final step. From the moles of the product, find the mass of the product which is asked from you. Okay, this is the final step you have to do. Now you have moles and you have to find the mass. We will use the same formula, moles is equal to mass divided by molar mass. Same formula, but we will rearrange it because we have to find out the mass this time. So what will be the shape of the formula?
Mole multiplied by
Moles
molar
multiplied by
mass.
molar mass is equal to mass.
Very good. Number 3, it will be mass is equal to, because mass we will take it, we will keep it here, and we will take molar mass on the other side. So moles multiplied by molar mass. Okay, moles are 0.17 Okay, so see, all these steps are linked. Okay, so if your first step is correct, then your all the other steps will also be correct. If your first step is wrong, then your whole answer will be wrong. Okay, all the steps will be wrong. So, and the molar mass of aluminium oxide, because here we are finding out the
102.
product.
102.
Yeah, 102. Okay, and I hope that you all know how to find the RFM, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Can you tell me which two things we will multiply and add?
127 times 2.
And
27
16
times 2. Very
plus
16
good.
16
times
into
2.
3.
Multiply by 3.
3.
Very good. So
54
It
this
plus
is
should be
48. 54 plus 48.
plus 48.
54 plus 48. And the
One.
answer is
102.
very good. 102. So the molar mass of aluminium oxide 102. Okay. And in the middle, if you don't understand anything, please ask me. Okay. Okay. 0.17 multiplied by 102 is
17.4.
17.34 gram.
17.34 grams. Okay. So this is the mass of,
Aluminium oxide.
Aluminum oxide.
yeah. And what is asked from us? What was required?
Aluminium oxide. Mass of aluminium oxide.
Yeah. Okay, and we find out that this is 17.34 grams. Okay, so to find the mass of aluminum, one mass is given to us and we have to find the second mass, the mass of the other thing. Okay, and to find the mass of the other thing, we have to follow these three steps, the footbridge. Okay, so please learn this. From the mass of the reactant, find the moles of the reactant. From the moles find of the reactant, find the moles of the product. And from the product moles, find the mass of the product. So this is the first footbridge. Okay, it's the same example. Then we have percentage yield and percentage purity. So you did not study this, right? Percentage yield.
No,
No, ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, so I have to teach you from the starting. Okay, this is really easy concept. Percentage purity is, see, for example, let's take the example of the previous previous question. Like aluminium, 4 aluminium is reacting with 3 moles of oxygen and they are producing 2 moles of aluminium oxide. Okay, this we know according to the equation, this is true. Okay, this is the ideal case. Ideal case means according to the equation, this thing is true. We balance the equation because we know that mass of the reactant and product should be same. Okay, so we balanced the equation, and then we said that 4 moles of aluminium are giving 2 moles of aluminium oxide. Okay, this is the ideal situation. But when we do this experiment, okay, when we do this experimentally or when we do a chemical reaction in the laboratory, then we will always get the less amount of the product as we predicted. Okay, according to the equation we should obtain 2 moles of aluminium oxide, but when we are doing this in the laboratory and we are taking the same amount, 4 moles of aluminium, 3 moles of oxygen, but after the reaction experimentally, when we do this in the laboratory, we will get the less amount, for example 1.8, 1.83, 1.9, something like this. We will always get the less amount when we do it in an experiment in the laboratory. Okay, always get the less amount of the product. Do you know why? Any guesses? Why we always get the less amount when we do it by ourselves?
Ma'am, the reaction might not complete.
Mm-hmm. The
And
reaction
some,
might not be complete.
some of them are lost or is used
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
during the process.
Yeah, during the process also some of them is lost. So this is like these are errors. Okay, because of the errors, so they can be like human errors, they can be environmental errors, they can be instrumental errors. Okay, so different type of errors can be there, like in the measurement also, maybe we made mistake in the measurement. Okay, or maybe like some impurity is present in it, so the amount is decreased because of this thing, amount of the product. Okay, so because of the errors we get, or we always get the less amount as compared to the original one, as compared to the predicted which we predicted from the equation. Okay, so we get the two amounts, we have the two amounts of the product which we get in the in a chemical reaction. Okay, so these two amounts, first amount which we take out from the equation, this amount is known as predicted yield. Okay, yield is the product. Okay, I forgot to tell you, the word yield is for the product or the produce, that what we will get in the end. Okay, which product we will get and how much amount of the product we will get in the end. So this is the we will calculate the percentage of it, that how much percentage of the product we will get in the end. Okay, are we are getting 99% product, or we are getting 99.7% product, or how much product we are getting. Okay, we will never get 100% product. Okay, because when we do it in the laboratory, always I told you that there are some errors present, so we will not get 100% product in the end. Okay, it's like a very very ideal case and it's very rare. So we always get some like 99.7%, like 99.78 or something like this. Okay, less than 100 in short. So this is our predicted yield, predicted product, which we predicted from the equation, and the amount of the product which we get during the experiment. This is our actual yield. Okay, which we get actually during the experiment. So these are two yields, predicted product and actual product. The amount of the product which we get from the equation, from the ideal case when there are no errors. Okay, and actual yield is that amount of the product which we get experimentally. Okay, a reaction may not always yield the total amount of the product predicted by the equation. The loss may be due to several factors. So these are the factors. Number one, the reaction may not be totally complete. Errors may be made in weighing the reactants or the products, and material may be lost in carrying out the reaction or in transferring or separating the product. Okay, so they can be these reasons can be there why we're getting the less amount as compared to the predicted one. So on page 165, you can see the formula is written, formula of percentage yield. The formula of percentage yield is actual yield over predicted yield multiplied by 100. Okay, we are multiplying by 100 because we are taking out percentage. Actual yield is which we get from the chemical reaction, from the experiment. Okay, and predicted yield is which we take out from the equation. Okay, and most of the time this actual yield is given to us and we have to take out the predicted yield from the equation. So this one during the experiment, like in a chemical, in a numerical, okay, in a numerical, most of the times this actual yield is given to us because obviously we cannot perform the experiment, okay, in front of us. We cannot perform the experiment during the paper and we cannot find out the actual yield, that how much actually product we are getting. Okay, so this actual yield is mostly, it is given to us in the numerical. Okay, and this predicted yield we have to calculate from the equation. Okay, so we'll do this question also of percentage yield. Okay, now percentage purity is also very simple. Percentage purity is that if we have, for example, an ore of, for example, let's take iron. Okay, we have ore of iron. This is the ore. Okay, and the ore, does it contain only that chemical, only iron, or some other things are also present in an ore?
Other
Some
things
other
are
things are also present.
Other things are also present.
Yeah, other substances are also present. So from the ore, we actually extract the pure iron. We take out the pure iron from the ore because ore contains lots of other metals also. Okay, other metals and dust particles, other impurities are also present. So the ore is actually considered impure. Okay, so ore is the impure iron. Okay, and what the amount which we'll take out, that will be pure iron. Okay, so percentage purity is in which we will calculate that how much pure product we are getting. Okay, what percentage, like how much purity is there. Okay, how much pure product we are getting in an equation. So in an equation also, when the product is formed, okay, sometimes the product also it is with different impurities present with it. Okay, so how much like how much pure product we are getting. So for this one, the formula is percentage purity is equal to mass of pure product divided by impure multiplied by 100. Remember that both of them are masses. Okay, both of them are masses in grams. So this yield is also in grams. You can also write, instead of actual yield, you can write actual mass also. Actual mass divided by predicted mass multiplied by 100. Okay, so this is your percentage yield. And for percentage purity also, for percentage purity, mass of pure product. Okay, how much pure product we are getting divided by the mass of impure, means the total amount, the total mass of the impure product multiplied by 100. That's how we can calculate the percentage purity. Okay, so these two are very simple concepts. And then you have the worked example. Okay, worked example 6.7. Okay, first tell me that are these both terms understood? Are they clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, if you still have any question, please ask me. Okay. The percentage purity of a chemical product, I'm reading from here, the book. The percentage purity of a chemical product can be calculated in a similar way to the percentage yield. The purity of a chemical for use in the laboratory is usually displayed on the container. Okay, so most of the time the percentage purity is written on the container that this much pure is the substance. Okay, and on the top of it, in the paragraph it's written the crude product may prove to contain less than 100% of the required substance. Okay, so the crude product is actually the impure one, the ore. They are saying crude to this impure ore. Okay, so the crude product, okay, the impure product may prove to contain the less amount, less than 100%. So obviously because it's impure, so it does not contain 100% product. Okay, so it always contains less than 100% product. So in percentage yield also we will always get less than 100%, and in purity also we'll get less than 100% because not everything is 100% pure. It's very rare. Okay, now this worked example 6.7. Okay, see this example. Heating 12.4 grams of copper carbonate in a crucible produced only 7 grams of copper oxide. So let's write what is given. Okay, because I always, whenever I read this statement, I always write the given, the what is given, what is required, and I will try to write the equation also. Okay, it will be easy then to solve the problem. So heating 12.4 grams of copper carbonate. So copper carbonate, CuCO3, copper carbonate mass is given, which is 12.4. Okay, in a crucible produced only 7 grams of copper oxide. So mass of copper oxide is also given, 7 grams. Okay, what was the percentage yield of the copper oxide? So of the product, because I told you that yield is the product. Okay, so percentage yield is always it's going to be for the product. Okay, never it's going to be for the reactant. Okay, they will never ask you that find out the percentage yield of the reactant, because percentage yield itself is the product. Okay, so it's understood that always we will calculate the percentage yield for the product formed. Okay, now they're asking the percentage yield for copper oxide. See, the equation is copper carbonate. Okay, heating copper carbonate in a crucible. So we are doing an experiment and they are heating copper carbonate and it is giving copper oxide. What is the other thing formed?
Ma'am,
Carbon
carbon
dioxide.
dioxide.
Comment.
Yes, very good. So whenever a carbonate is heated, whenever a carbonate decomposes, it will always give carbon dioxide. Okay, remember this thing. Whenever a carbonate decomposes, it gives carbon dioxide or it releases carbon dioxide. So this is the full equation. Is this equation balanced?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, it's balanced also, so it's done. No need to balance. Okay, now 12.4 gram of copper carbonate is producing 7 grams of copper oxide. Now tell me that is this mass is actual yield or predicted yield?
Predicted.
Actual yield.
This is actual. Okay, because they did it in an experiment. Okay, this is a chemical reaction. Remember, I told you, I've written it also, that actual yield is what we get from the chemical reaction. Okay, so heating copper carbonate in a crucible produce 7 grams of copper oxide. So it means that this 7 grams is our actual yield, which we get from the experiment. Okay, now in percentage, we have to calculate the percentage yield. So percentage yield formula is, as we know, it is actual divided by predicted multiplied by 100. Okay, now we know the actual yield, which is 7 grams, but we don't have the predicted yield, which, so we have to find out the predicted yield first. Okay, so how we'll do it? Okay, from the equation is copper carbonate is giving copper oxide plus carbon dioxide. Okay, we don't need carbon dioxide actually, we only need these two. Okay, now 1 mole of copper carbonate is giving 1 mole of copper oxide. Okay, in 1 mole of copper carbonate, how many grams will be there?
12.4.
No, this
Ma'am,
is
we'll
this
find the
is
RFM.
yeah, we'll find out the RFM. Okay, this 12.4 is which they have taken in experiment. Okay, in an experiment. Now we are finding out the predicted yield, which will be done from the equation. Okay, so from the equation we know that 1 mole is present. 1 mole of copper carbonate will form 1 mole of copper oxide. Okay, 1 mole, and this 1 mole contains RFM
124.
mass.
Ma'am, so ratio is 1:1.
Ma'am, I got
1:1.
Yeah, ratio is 1:1, and it's the equal to RFM, or the molar mass. So what is the molar mass of copper carbonate?
Ma'am, I got 124.
Yeah, it is 124. Okay, RFM equal to R. Remember that 1 mole of every substance is equal to its RFM, or if it is an atom or element, then it is equal to its RAM. Okay, as it is a molecule, so it has formula. Okay, formula mass. So 1 mole of any molecule is equal to its formula mass, relative formula mass. So copper carbonate is 124 and copper oxide is
80.
80.
80. Okay, now see, now we will take the ratio. Okay, that copper carbonate ratio copper oxide. Okay, that 124 grams, according to the equation, according to the ideal situation, 124 gram is giving 80 grams. Okay, then the amount they took, 12.4, then how much 12.4 gram will give?
8 gram.
8 gram, ma'am. We'll divide it by
Yeah,
Divided by
10.
10.
divided by 10, 8 grams. Very good, 8 grams. Okay, so now these 8 grams of copper carbonate, this is your predicted yield. Okay, because you calculated it from the equation by yourself. Okay, so 7 is the actual yield which is given to you in the question, and you from the equation and the ratio, you find out the predicted yield. Okay, now substitute it in the percentage yield formula. Okay, see the book. Percentage yield is equal to actual over predicted. So actual yield is 7. Okay, predicted yield is 8, which you just calculated, multiplied by 100, and it will give you the answer, percentage yield.
87.5%.
87.5. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Okay, and in the first question of worksheet 6.3, okay, if you have seen worksheet 6.3, in that worksheet, the first question is, wait, let me open it. I'll show you. It's worksheet 6.3. Yeah, can you see it?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, worksheet 6.3. I just solved it, so ignore the mess, please. Okay, sorry for the mess. Propene reacts with hydrogen iodide to form 2-iodopropane. Okay, calculate the percentage yield. So over here also, you can see that 1.4 gram of propene produced 4 gram of iodopropane. Okay, produced means 4 grams is your actual yield, which is written here. I wrote it here in red. That 4 grams, which is given to you in the question, this is your actual yield, which we are getting during the experiment. Okay, and you have to calculate the percentage yield. So in percentage yield, obviously you need a predicted mass also. So you will do all these steps to take out the predicted yield. Okay, all these steps you will do to find out the predicted yield. So for the predicted yield, you have to follow the full step which I told you. Okay, from the mass of the reactant which is given to you 1.4, you will find out the moles of the reactant. Then for moles of the reactant, you will find out from the equation ratio, from the reactant ratio product. From this ratio, you will find the moles of the product. Then from the moles of the product, you will find the mass of the product, which will be your predicted mass. Okay, so you have the actual mass, you will find out the predicted mass, and then you will find out the percentage yield. This is question number 1. Okay, so sir distributed this worksheet, right, to you?
Yes, ma'am, I have.
Yes, ma'am.
We have.
Okay, so yeah, after this class, whenever you get time, just try to solve this question number 1. Okay, about the percentage yield. Then inshallah we'll continue from here in the next class.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay,
Okay, ma'am.
I hope you had a
Okay,
good
ma'am.
class today.
Yes,
Allah
ma'am.
Hafiz.
Yes, ma'am.
Allah.
Yes, ma'am.
Allah Hafiz, ma'am.
Allah
Hafiz, ma'am.
Hafiz. Take care.